Christian home and a positive church experience. But in his young life, Christopher was missing a single key ingredient.
I grew up in a single-parent home. My father wasn't around, but I came across, some very familiar surroundings, which is the church. And, throughout my life, my mother took care of us, but she made sure that we had, a Christian background within the church. So, I kind of found the Father in the church, and, I grew up around some great friends. We grew up in the ministry, so basically, my childhood has been church and school, and, just being around a loving family. It was interesting because I never realized that a father was needed in the house until I actually got older, about 18 or 19 years old. But throughout my childhood, I would see fathers in other households that they would make me kind of jealous, but at the same time, I didn't see the need because, I was eating really good. My mother was taking care of us and we had clothes on our back, so I didn't see the need for a father at the time. It started impacting me right after I graduated high school because I didn't have those male tendencies in me, things like, wanting to get up and go work because I never saw that firsthand. I never saw a man get up, go work, or I never had those one-on-one male talks, that's very needed, with young males these days. So, I saw it then, or I felt it then because, I saw my life begin to, kind of go on the wrong side, and basically I drew to older men because I was in search of a father figure or a male figure at the time. I was just in search for attention, basically. That's what it was. It was just this yearning for attention and this yearning just to have all eyes on me. I was more of a class clown. I just had to have all of the attention on me. And whatever it took to do that, I did it. Whether it was cursing the teacher out or just getting up in the middle of a test and just saying something. I had to have all the attention on me. And after high school, I did something I said I'd never do, and I smoked weed. And with that came an addiction, to weed. And then from there, I began to drink a little bit, and then from drinking, I started smoking, like Black and Miles and things of that nature. It just started getting worse and worse after that.
Once he started down that dark path, Christopher's life was just like a stack of dominoes. When one falls, it knocks down another, then another, and another. And soon, his life was spiraling out of control. For many of us, it sometimes takes a drastic action to get us to pay attention to what God is trying to tell us. For Christopher, that action was a blazing inferno that nearly took his life.
I woke up and the building was on fire. The apartment was on fire. The night before, I felt something strange. I washed clothes and I set it beside the window. But I normally don't do that. And when I woke up, I thought I was having a dream because I heard the smoke detector go off. And the house was on fire. It was in flames. Every room but my room. When I opened the door, I saw nothing but fire in the hallways. Surprisingly, I didn't panic. I had 3 little cousins of mine, all under the age of 6 years old, sleeping in my room with me. And then I had another cousin in the next room. And surprisingly, I didn't panic. It was like a calm came over me. And at the time, during that period, you don't know. But thinking back in retrospect, it was God who kept me calm. And I was calm once I got everybody from the next room over. We just opened the window and we let down a sheet halfway down. The sheet wasn't long enough to let the children down. We just couldn't roll the children out. And but yet and still I remained calm. This big, tall man came across walking around, and his hand stopped at the tip of the end of the sheet. So all we had to do was let the children down, and they fell right into his hands. And not until when the ambulance came, I was sitting in the back of the ambulance, and at that point, I began to cry because my conscience began to tell me if I had died in that fire, I wouldn't be in hell. And I just began to cry, and I just began to see myself as needing to be saved.
That miracle was the beginning of Christopher's transformation. Not long after this harrowing experience, Christopher returned to the Lord and fully committed his life to Christ.
That was the point. God began to instill in me a motivation to want to become educated, a motivation to want to, do something in society. And in 2006 was the point where I said I have to do something with myself. just being saved is not enough. That's good, but you have to do something with that, and you have to go and have a motivation and have a desire to want to, get more knowledge and to, and to get a higher education, and that was the point. In 2006, I went and got my GED, and after my GED, I got right into college.
Even before Christopher felt the desire to go back to school, God had placed a powerful example in his life, a guide to help him through the difficult times ahead.
My mother graduated from high school at the age of 24. She went back to high school and graduated at the age of 24. She not only worked a night job, but she also worked at the school, went to school, and worked at FedEx. And she just never stopped. She always pressed to become highly educated in whatever she was doing. She never listened to people saying she wasn't going to do anything. She messed up, things of that nature. She just pressed, and she was motivated. And, just watching her, I know that's where my motivation came from. God working through her, and it's just filtering on down to me, to just want to make something out of myself. No matter what the age is, it's never too late. If you can graduate from high school at the age of 24, amongst a bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds, if you can take that embarrassment, if you can take the embarrassment of having a child at an early age and still press on, to make something out of yourself, that's what motivates me still to this day. It's the motivation of my mother.
This motivation helped Christopher to get past some of the biggest obstacles in his path, especially an obstacle called tuition.
Of course, I couldn't handle it financially. I sat down and I actually just prayed. And it's amazing because this empowering confidence just came within me. And, I never talked to my mother about going back to school. I never talked to anyone. I just prayed. And after I got my GED, I said, God, if you help me to get my GED, there's nothing that's going to stop me from getting an education. Once I got my GED, then the financial problem came up. So I went through this program called WIN. And I went there, and you had to go take a lot of tests and a lot of classes and things of that nature. And they actually paid for my schooling when I first started. And I didn't believe I was going to get it, but I got the call one day saying, Christopher, you passed the test, you passed our training program, we're going to pay for your school, come and pick your vouchers up. And I hung up the phone, and I just lifted my hands and told the Lord, thank you. And I said, from this point on, I'm not stopping. I'm going on.
Christopher stayed the course and got his diploma, and the feeling was indescribable.
It was like a breath of fresh air. It was like the scales falling off my eyes. Because I kept asking myself, how could I miss out on this much knowledge in high school? I played around in high school and did education, but that's the thing about knowing God or coming into a relationship with God. He gives you an appreciation, for the things that most people just shrug off, at a young age.
Now, all the dominoes in Christopher's life are positive. One good thing leading to another and another, all the way to a bright future.
God invested in you. And if God invested in you, He wants to see it come to pass. He wants to see fruit come from that investment. And the things that I was doing, smoking, drinking, things of that nature, that's not, those are not the fruits of God investment that He wants to see coming from you.
Oftentimes, it's not just the time commitment, but it's the financial cost. If it's the Lord's will, He will enable you to complete what He's calling you to do. He doesn't call us to do something and then leave us high and dry in resources or time, but He enables us to do that. And there's a surprising number of scholarships that are available for individuals who want to go back and make further education.
Wise decisions are made in partnership with someone who's really wise. So I say yes, God is going to partner with you. Ultimately, you have to make a decision. But as you allow God to walk with you and become a greater element of your life, you will have wisdom that will put you to make that decision.
God has invested in me, and I know I am put here to do something positive and to make a change in this world. Then you would get up and you would start doing something. I don't care if it's just in the direction of getting an education. You might not know what you want to be here, but just start out in the direction. And the Bible is right when it says, trust in the Lord and He will direct your path. If you just trust Him, He will direct your path. And I can say that from experience.
God's plans for us are so much